Good morning. It's Erica of AriBo Arts, and we're here for some Battmaking. I'm like a minute late because I had a wee little accident. Actually surprised I haven't done it before. I've got a couple drum carters down there sitting on their butts, and I went to move one out of the way to put the tripod up, and managed to get just one little tine under my thumbnail. So I have essentially bathed it in antibiotic ointment, and I'm just sort of keeping an eye on it. But there will be no blood in this bat. So this is the last bat I'm going to make before the waffle sale this weekend. My slot is 7:30 Eastern on Saturday. And I just noticed I've got something. Actually, I think anything on the Carter can say it. Okay. So waffle sale this weekend. The breed of the month is camelids, which includes alpacas. And so I'm going to use some alpaca. I have to check my cheat sheet here. I'm going to be using a blend that is 50% alpaca, 30% merino, and 20% silk. That is this right here. And then I'm going to augment it with just tiny little bits of this Cheviot from Brilliant Creatives. This is some black merino waste that I'm just going to use like an oil. I've got this, it's called Urchin Bamboo, and I might put a little bit of white mulberry silk on it. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how it looks. I am, however, going to put that over there. And also, just quickly drag this across. We're also celebrating today for a couple of reasons. One, I'm finally able to go live in the waffle group as AriBo Arts again instead of as Erica. So that's exciting. The other exciting bit is I live in Northeast Iowa. I live next to the Cedar River, and the Cedar River has been flooding. The water, however, is on its way down now. So I'm very excited about that. Just going to check the thumb. And so that's exciting. Yesterday there's a boutique downstairs, and they have an interior staircase to get down to the basement. I have to go out and around the building to access the basement. It's from the outside, and it was still flooded yesterday in that sort of the sidewalk area is not exactly flat, and there were some drains that had backed up, and so I couldn't, and I don't walk through floodwater. And so the business downstairs let me go downstairs yesterday morning and peek, and even though there was quite a bit of water outside the door, none seemed to be, there was a little bit inside, there was some dampness. Now that may have changed over the course of yesterday, but it looked like it was not going to be, we didn't need a sump pump or anything like that. So mainly I went down this morning and it's all gone away, though I think I'm not going to be wearing sandals down there because it all looks like it's a little slimy. So I'm going to probably go down later and assess it, get a hold of some bleach, make a bleach solution, and sort of spray that around a bit, and then set up some fans to let it dry out. And probably by Friday I can move everything back in. Okay, so we're going to start with our alpaca blend here. Now, what I've discovered making bats with alpaca is they end up not being very big bats. Alpaca, it ends up being, even though it tends to be not a huge amount of crimp in it, it's still very light and fluffy. And so it's hard to make big bats. Okay, find and not to use a lot of the end of the thumb so I don't put any pressure on where my boo-boo is. Put some more over here. So by Friday I can move everything back in. I spent 4 hours on Sunday, some of it with friends, moving everything out of my basement. I mean, reorganizing the basement had been a plan for June, and I had started like removing boxes and old stuff like that. This sort of pushed that forward on steroids. And I've lined up somebody I know had a storefront with lots of sort of older storage pieces, and they're going to let me have some. So, some of that. I like having some depth of color. Okay, so did that. Let's put some of the. I just love green and purple. I think I'm going to use the white as well. That, just a little bit. And then the black, this is, I don't know where I picked it up, but it's essentially, I think it was probably intended for felting, but you can use it like an oil. And so what you want to do, because it is an oil, right? It's very, not over 1 inch, okay? And so what you just do is you just let it drag, like that. And then if you get a big clump like this, you can just come back and pull it up, like that. So another big clump there, and another one there. Because you just want like a little flecks of it. There we go. So it provides a nice contrast there with the whites. So yes, I haven't been very productive the last couple of days because I've been, dealing with the flood stuff. The flood's a lot of sort of hurry up and wait. But also I've been really sort of swamped the last couple of weeks. I didn't do Battmaking last Wednesday because my time management had been bad, and I had a show this past weekend, and so I had to get, and I had some commissions, so I had to get those done. And I knew the best way to get those done was to get out of the house early and get to the dye lab. And so, because if I waited, till after the demo, well, then I'd have to have lunch, and then I'd have to do something else, and then I'd have, and then I'd probably never get there, or get there and not be able to do much. So, I went early to the dye lab and did a double load on Wednesday, which means washing 2 loads of laundry, and then prepping them all in the dyes. And then Thursday, because I'm doing fiber reactive dyes, I had to rinse everything and put it in dye fixative, and then to the washer and dryer. And then hang it, and I didn't label it until Saturday when I showed up at the shop. But I needed to have it done by. Oh, I got that. I need to have that done by Thursday night because Friday I had promised to help a friend move. She had been faculty residence at the local college, and they discontinued the program, and so she had a housing provided as part of that, and so she had to move not far. Unfortunately, there are elevators available on both ends, but she's an academic. She got books, and it was this gigantic apartment that, because it was meant for entertaining and, having groups of 12 to 20 students in there for, book clubs and things like that. And so she had a lot of stuff. And then she was moving to a smaller place, bigger than mine, but a smaller place. And I, of course, have a van now, so I'm very popular with people who need to move. So I said, sure, yeah, I'd help. And I figured, 5 hours or something like that. It was 9 hours. I was very sore. And then I had to come home and then immediately pack the van for a show on Saturday in West Des Moines. So I went and did, and got up like at 4:30 to leave by 5:30 to get to Des Moines. And it was pouring rain here. It was terrible. And so, yeah. And then Sunday, I wake up to, I'm thinking, we know there's going to be some flooding. I've got all sorts of important stuff and show things and so forth in my basement. Yeah, I should probably move stuff out of my basement. And, I haven't finished reorganizing it. And I go outside, and there's like all of my neighbors are there with like trailers, and everybody's moving everything out of the basement. Now I heard what's really interesting is our basements are really very sort of subterranean. So almost for all of us, like we open our door and we have to step down from the sidewalk. But some of them are deeper than others. And where mine just looks like it got some water, it looks like one of my neighbors got 5 or 6 inches across their whole basement. So, because theirs was a deeper basement than mine. Oops, a little bit of the end there. I suspect that this is, I bought this blend at Fiber Festival in Indiana. So I suspect it's from Indiana alpacas. I made a bat earlier from using fiber from the same person, and that one had alpaca and cormo. It was very, very. This is a little bit slick. That one was very fluffy. Had a lot of. Oh, hang on. It's got a lot of neps in it, but it makes a feature. Can you sort of see the... So it's got these little, sort of... It would be great to make a nice textured yarn with. Making sure nothing's going over the edge. So I've been busy sort of, I was, so by the end of Sunday, I was like dead on my feet because I was like, I've been going straight out for days. My feet still hurt. Probably because I wore bad sandals when I was doing a lot of this. And so I've been, starting to get ready, obviously, for Saturday. But I also have 2 very large shows in July. And so I've been making stitch markers. I've been making jewelry. I just did another order for some more charms. So I could make more of those. Because the first show is 4 days long. That's a lot of stock you have to have. And I only have like 2.5 usable days between them. So, it's time to make some bats, but all the dyeing I have to do before the first show. Used up all that. Okay, pull some more out. And this is also super light, that black wool waste, so you just want to make sure you press it down between the teeth, and we keep building. It's just pretty flat, so it doesn't need a lot of fluffing. Just a few spots where it's sort of a little clumpy. Yeah, so this week I've been obviously making bats for Saturday. I've also been doing some show applications. Sorry, Sebastian is still noisy. Really close to the edge here. Interesting. Somebody knocking at the door of my neighbors. By the way, if you have any name suggestions, pop them in the comments. This is the Cheviot. Do you like that green and purple together? A little bit of clump there. Pull that out. Probably one more layer. Still think it's going to be pretty thin. Definitely get entangled on the liquor in. That is pretty, you probably can't see it on camera, but it's pretty light. Put it right there. Yeah, this will be the last layer. some nice, you see there's a nice blob of different green there. Quite nice. Just sort of stripes of these. Purple. White for mulberry silk. Just a tiny bit of black. Oh, that's more black than we need. Okay. So if you'd like to guess the weight, go right ahead. I'm going to make another one of these. I got the ingredients. Clear this off here so you have room for the scale. I suspect this is going to be a little messy to get off. Alpaca likes to cling to the drum. But we're going to break it right here. Yeah, this feels pretty light. My guess is it's under 2 ounces. Always breaking off there. So the longer bits are on the right. Press this back down. I'm going to use my other thumb because that's the thumb with the boo-boo. Trying not to poke myself. I think it was the no, it was the fancy kitty Carter that poked me. Okay, there we go. Grab and we're leaving a bit behind, but I think we'll be okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. There we go. Drum's a little fuzzy. Oh, this is fluffy. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Look how thick that is. That's huge. Okay, so we're going to quickly roll and weigh it. And then I will take photos of it in a little bit after I've done the typical fluff and fold. The weight is all stuffed in there. Oh, it's heavier than I thought it was. Okay, It is definitely, it's heavier than I thought it was. Grab a piece of paper so I can write down everything. It is 2.31. So 2.31 ounces. So if you have a name suggestion, pop them in the comments. Okay? And I will post photos of this later. And don't forget to tune in. Tomorrow night we've got the Zoom spin-along. If you want to join us on Zoom, the link is in the event description. It's at 8 p.m. on Thursday. Friday morning we start the Waffle Weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we start at noon. Okay? And I am on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. An evening slot. I haven't had an evening slot in a while. So I hope to see you then, and this will be available at that point, unless somebody nabs it before then. Okay? Wish you all a very pleasant day, and I'll see you around on Facebook.